Seattle. Over the past 5 years, the nation's second fastest growing city has become the crane capital of America and home to the third largest homeless population. It's easy to see who's at the top and who's on the bottom. I wanted to find the people in the middle to see how they're hanging on and trying to avoid being priced out.
We're in front of my current home, 1921 Craftsman, old world charm aplenty. Stained glass windows inside my father made. It's a beautiful house. It's the American dream. It's what everyone wants right now and can't get in Seattle. And I've got it, barely. I am Amy Marie Douglas, and I am an artist. This is the letterpress studio at the School of Visual Concepts, downtown Seattle. I get to play with letters, I get to play with ink, I get to get my hands dirty, I get to feel the things that I create. Technology that's 100 years old is clinging to life here in Amazonia, 2 blocks away from the spheres. The things in this room, because of the equipment and the age and the wear and the tear, it is very much like this city, what the city is going through. It's the same type of thing. There's character here. There is character in Seattle, the Seattle that I grew up in. The little craftsmans, the Cape Cods, those things. We're losing that. We're getting all the gray boxes. They look exactly the same.
You think the character of the city, sort of at its core, has changed?
I do, definitely. It has. I think most Seattleites and natives that you would talk to would agree. That's not to place blame on new people coming here that just haven't adjusted to what Seattle is. I just think that there's a lot of pressure that comes with living here. We are all so stressed at how this has changed so rapidly. Because I'm a contractor. I don't have benefits, I don't have health care, and honestly, I make a good living doing what I do, but I don't make enough to pay for my own health care and pay this mortgage and pay the gas, the electricity, a car payment.
So a renter would look at you and say, she's so lucky, she owns her house. It's not that simple, right?
It's not that simple.
I know you thought about selling it, but where would that put you?
Well, if I sold it, I feel like once I sell it, I can never look back. I can never come back to Seattle. I don't think I would be able to afford to.
You couldn't get back into the market here?
I don't think I could.
And you couldn't afford rent?
Oh, God, no.
How much of your identity do you think is wrapped up in being a Seattleite?
I'm very proud of being a Seattleite, but I just feel like it's so different. I feel like I'm an imposter And I know I'm not. I want to remember the place that I knew and loved as it was. This is Spud Fish and Chips at Green Lake in Seattle. Everything about this place is unique. It's been here since 1940. It's funky, it's tiny. It was just a great family place. And we're gonna lose this icon, this architecture, for another large box with efficiency units. This used to be the Food Giant. Today it is the Wallingford QFC. It's really no different than any other fancy grocery store. It was just kind of a neighborhood place, and you could focus on just doing small town things when it used to be a small town here in Seattle. So this is what it is now. There are magical moments in some of those places that no longer exist. My memories are going to be totally different than someone else's, but when that art can bring two different people together and tell two different stories, you're forming a relationship with someone that you never would have met otherwise.
How does your story end?
That's a good one. I think if I'm going to be realistic about it, I think it ends with me going elsewhere. Got to make a move to a town that's right for me. I can't afford to stay. I would compromise too many things that are important to me to fight the good fight and struggle to afford this.
When I was a teenager, it was Capitol Hill. This was where a lot of the scene was.
Knee-jerk idea.
Funky soul, kind of like James Brown.
Making this music and giving it to the city, it's a necessity.
Gravy's in your area!
Good evening, Capitol Hill. Looks like you came to have a dance party. Y'all feel funky?
My name's Joe Simpson. I'm a childcare worker and a working artist in Seattle.
I'm Monica Baroga. I'm a stay-at-home mom and singer and performer.
Eldridge Gravy and the Court Supreme is our gigantic funk and soul ensemble.
We are never not a good time.
That's the slogan, for sure. Seattle is definitely a musical city, and so that's why I think it's really important that we've been doing this for as long as we have and that we continue to do it, because kind of I feel like we are part of that soul.
Here you go, bud. Being a parent to me is a huge privilege.
It's hard to make ends meet and support a family on the salary of a childcare worker.
Oh, it's,
Yeah, we get by with help from our friends pretty much.
yeah, family and friends.
And we do little shortcuts, you know, like sometimes we'll go to the food bank if we need to. And we kind of get every other benefit we possibly can for Felix too.
You got it?
You know, like free and reduced lunch, and like we send him to summer programs, usually at a pretty good discount because we can qualify for that, so that's nice. But we don't always, like for childcare for instance, we don't really qualify because we're just above the poverty line, I think, right now.
To have the childcare, both parents have to be working 40 hours a week. And it's like almost, from what I've understood with most people I know, like essentially one parent is working to cover the cost of childcare, and the other parent's working to cover the rest of the life. Mm-hmm. And
it's just to get you through the first
ridiculous.
5 years, you know, pretty much.
Yeah, it's just crazy ridiculous. Let's see, here, you sit here, I'll sit here.
I mean, I think about college all the time and how that will work, and how we're really gonna have to prepare him to fill out some FAFSA forms and, you know, really go out there and get a scholarship if he wants to pursue that.
You can
we get a ridiculous markdown.
Yeah, I think of it
on
as
our
like controlled rent.
Yeah, on the place that we live. Yeah, probably the only place that has a reasonable controlled rent, and it's thanks to my mother-in-law, and that's awesome.
Still may become untenable, you know, to live here because of the cost of living and continually going up, and my wage staying at a pretty steady plateau. So we may end up some days being like, you know, we're going to try it out in a different state or a different country even.
What sacrifices do you guys make?
In the last year and a half, we got internet at this house. So like we were like living in this Stone Age feeling of like, I have to go to the library to use the internet. It's not in my house. You feel positive about something if you feel good about where you're at, you know? So like, I don't think about sacrifices I make as sacrifices. They're just like how it is.
It's a way of life.
That's how we're doing it now. Surviving in Seattle it's just day by day.
And a lot of artists from Seattle that I know have moved to LA, and I think about kind of the way that drains the personality away from the city in many ways. I feel like we as a band kind of are, you know, upholding that personality, kind of keeping that quirkiness that we talk about, the kitschiness. We're going to continue to give the gift as long as people are there to receive it, for sure.